Hello Bookworm family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Danny. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because I'm posting lots of new content all the time. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, please be sure to do that. It is at _dancing_bookworm. Post on there full book reviews and bookish content. So it is Friday. It is absolutely gorgeous out. It is a beautiful sunny day. I don't have to babysit today, so it's a little after, I want to say it's close to noon. Yeah, it's almost noon. And I'm about to head out with my mom and her friend, which I know isn't really social distancing, but he hasn't gone anywhere, we haven't gone anywhere, so it's pretty much social distancing because none of us have gone anywhere. So, but I have 4 days off of babysitting. I don't have to babysit today, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday because it's Memorial Day weekend. And as far as dance goes, I only have to teach tonight, and then I have 3 days off of that. So I get a nice little break, which is pretty awesome. Tonight I need to finish the book scavenger, which is my 100-acre wood prompt for Believe-a-thon, and that prompt is to read a book with yellow on the cover. This one's by Jennifer Chambliss Burtman, and it's about a girl named Emily who is obsessed with playing this game where she has to go hunt for books based on ciphers and clues that she finds online. But when the guy who invented the game is shot, she thinks she stumbles across his next big game, and she will stop at nothing to solve it. I'm really enjoying this so far, and I only have 100 pages left, so I'm really excited to finish it up tonight. But I'm hoping I can do a little bit of reading in the car. Just gonna really enjoy the afternoon. So yeah, let's go. Okay, so it's a little after 3 o'clock. I just got done reading outside a little bit. I got back from doing all my shopping. I got lots of snacks for this weekend because I have a 4-day weekend. I do have to teach tonight on Zoom for my dance classes, but I'm going to try to read as much of Book Scavenger as I can possibly do because I only have 55 pages left. So I'm hoping to get it done, but I do teach at 4 and I still have to put my groceries away from like the snacks that I got and stuff. So I don't know if I'll finish it before I have to teach, but I'll definitely finish it shortly after I have to teach. I also have to post my vlog tonight, which I'm having trouble getting to upload. So I'll figure that out after work, I think. But yeah. Okay, so it's about 10:15 and I've had a wicked busy day today, but a successful busy day. So I went out with my mom, we did some grocery shopping. Her friend is super funny. I like hanging out with him. I think he's great. And then we ended up coming back here, and my sister-in-law's sister's family was over, and they were kind of having like a social distancing birthday party because our yard is gigantic. The last time I showed any part of the yard, it was pretty small, but we had like twice as much land as where our fence, like the old fence, was cutting off. So we got a new fence put up, so now it's like double the size, which is super exciting. I love our yards because we can have like a social distancing actual party, which is great. And then I had to teach, so I came up here, but my students had a showcase today, so that was cute. They had their little costumes on. They were like my younger kids, and it was just really cute. And then I went down and I used the last bit of sunlight to finish reading Book Scavenger. I also had a nice little cocktail tonight. Well, it was a wine cooler, not really a cocktail, but I'm pretending it was a cocktail. And I've just had like a super chill, fun day. I've enjoyed everything about today, so starting the vlog on a positive note, but I did want to go over the call pile for Book Scavenger with you guys because I did really enjoy it. So the call pile that I gave is all over the place. There are some elements about this book that I absolutely loved and want to reread for the elements, and there are some that I didn't really like. So probably the main element that I didn't like was the characters. Emily was really kind of obnoxious, like just kind of like oh, woe is me, I move all the time, I don't want to make friends, but when I don't make friends, I'm sad that I don't make friends. It was just kind of annoying. Like, she complained a lot. There were characters that I liked. I really liked her brother Matthew. I thought he was a really good character and kind of an accurate show of, like, that brother-sister, like, hate-love relationship that I feel like is sometimes overdone in books. I thought it was at the perfect level in this book. But yeah, I didn't really care for Emily or her friend in the book. Like, they just didn't do much for me. Atmosphere, I gave a 6. I mean, it's a pretty standard San Francisco book. Everything's named Bayside and talks about standard, like, San Francisco landmarks and stuff like that. But I've never been to San Francisco, so kind of get that visualization. Like, as they were talking, I picture all the shows that take place in San Francisco that I've seen, and I got the gist, so it was good. Writing, I gave a 7 because I didn't really like the characters, and I felt like she could have done a lot with the characters. But I did really like the overall idea of the book. So that brings me to plotline, which I gave a 10. I wish book scavenging was real. It was such a cool concept. Like, you have a book, you hide it. If somebody finds it, you get points, but you have to, like, cipher it in clues and stuff like that. But if you find a book, you get points and you get to level up and all this stuff, and you have to, like, come up with a clue cipher and stuff like that. It's like geocaching with books. And I wish it was real because I really want to do it, like, really bad. I wish there was something like that in this area, and it would be really, really fun if somebody would actually start it. Intrigue, I gave an 8. Once I got into it, once the plot line started picking up, which is about, I want to say, like, about a quarter of the way in. Like, it didn't take too long for the plot line to get picking up. But once it got picking up, I really wanted to finish reading it and was actually mad last night that I couldn't stay up and read it longer because I was falling asleep on it. So, and then Logic, I gave a 7 because obviously, Intrigue, I gave an 8. I don't know if I said 8 or 7, but Intrigue, I gave an 8. And Logic, I gave a 7 because, I mean, obviously, like, some 13-year-old kids are not going to go solve, like, the greatest mystery of all time kind of thing. But it's nice to believe they could. And Enjoyment, I gave a 9 because I really thoroughly enjoyed it, minus the character of Emily. It was a really good book for me. So it ended up being a 4-star book, and I loved it. The other books that I'm reading this weekend, which I'm just going to focus on the 2 that I'm reading this weekend for right now because I still have a lot of books on my TBR and I don't know which order I'm going to read the rest in. Well, actually, I'll talk about 3 books because I have 1 audiobook going and 2 that I need to read physically this weekend. So the first one that I have to read is Pegasus, The Flames of Olympus by Kate O'Hearn. This is pretty much like a female Percy Jackson kind of vibe to it. But this is another Emily. So another book about a character named Emily. And basically a Pegasus lands on her roof and she finds herself in a war between Roman gods, I think, and terrifying race of multi-armed stone warriors called the Nairads. But basically she kind of flies off on this Pegasus to join these worlds of Olympians and all this stuff. And, again, I give a really sucky description of this in the last vlog too. Mainly because I didn't know anything about it. I had a dancer who asked me to please read this book because it's her favorite book of all time. And when she mentioned it, another dancer jumped up and was like, yes, please read it. So I said I would because I like encouraging that they have favorite books and stuff like that. Pegasuses and unicorns and stuff have never really been my thing, but I think I'll enjoy the Percy Jackson vibes of it. So this is my next read, and I'm hoping to read a little bit of it tonight, but I'm also not getting my hopes up because I want to do all my book journaling for the last 2 weeks. I have to catch up on tonight and all my Instagram posts. So if I don't start it tonight, I have to finish reading this tomorrow because I only have 2 days left of Believe-a-thon. So this is not a choice. It has to be done tomorrow. It's about 380 pages, but the font is fairly biggish, I guess. Like, it's not super tiny, so I'm hoping I can whip through it in a day. Goals. And the next one that I'm reading, hopefully tomorrow night or Sunday, because Sunday is the last day of Believe-a-thon, is the second story of the Magic Misfits series by Neil Patrick Harris. And this one follows Layla, who is the girl that has been adopted by kind of this mentor that Carter found in the first book, Mr. Vern and the other Mr. Vern, I think is their names. And she was adopted by these 2 dads who have taken great care of her, but she has kind of haunted past from the orphanage that she was in before all this. But the whole overlying plot of the Magic Misfits is that there's a group of kids who are really good at magic, like magic card tricks and stuff like that, not like wizard magic, but like card tricks and escape artistry and stuff like that. And she is one of those kids, and finding this escape artistry has helped her overcome all the things that happened in the orphanage. But in this book, something is going to bring up those memories that she has to kind of face for the first time in a long time. And the last one that I am hoping to read this weekend, which I probably will not finish this weekend, but it is the audiobook that I'm listening to currently, and it is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. If you guys don't know what this is about, you probably have not read any of the Hunger Games, so you probably not care what the second book is about, but I find it hard to believe you don't know what the Hunger Games is about. It is about Katniss Everdeen, who goes into the Hunger Games arena as a tribute for her district, where she has to fight to the death to basically survive against 23 other kids, and one of them is a guy that she actually likes and enjoys his company. She doesn't really like love him, but enjoys his company. And so Catching Fire is the second book of that, when she has to return to the arena and kind of fight her way through again. So that was a horrible description of the Hunger Games, but I'm tired of describing that book because I've been reading it in my last 3 vlogs, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows what Hunger Games is about at this point. So, but right now I'm gonna go pop in the shower and then do my book journals. So I probably won't read much tonight, and if I do, it'll probably be after midnight because my book journals usually take me a couple hours. But Pegasus is first up on the reading agenda. So I'm very comfortably sitting here reading my book, and I've had some visitors come over to read with me while I'm trying to get some sun and some book time in. Okay, so it's about 10:15 at night. I have been outside all day until the sun went down, and then I just recorded my video for tomorrow's post for YouTube. I am over halfway done with Pegasus, and I am surprisingly enjoying it. Like, I did not expect to like this book, but I'm actually kind of into it. There are things logic-wise that I'm like, nah. But for the most part, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I expected to. So I do still plan on finishing this tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take a shower, and then I'm going to do an hour reading sprint. And then I'm going to edit my video. And then when I'm done editing my video, do another hour reading sprint, and then do something else, and then finish the book. So I don't think it's going to take me more than 2 hours to read this. I got through half of it, and I was extremely distracted outside because the kids were all over me, as I'm sure you saw in the previous clips. But the kids were jumping on me, and the dog was licking me, and I could not get into a settled place for the life of me, and I still managed to get halfway through it. So I don't think it's going to take me longer than 2 hours to finish it up. And I mean, there's 150 pages left, 160, something like that. So not even too many pages left. So hello. It is 3:30 in the morning on Sunday. I've just finished my Brawly Rail prompt for Believe-a-thon, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So the Brawly Rail prompt was to read a book that features transportation. So I read Pegasus, The Flame of Olympus by Kate O'Hearn, and the transportation is obviously the Pegasus. The girl flies on the Pegasus, so it's transportation. So this is about, I think I talked about it in the beginning of this video, but I did a really bad synopsis. But this is about a girl named Emily who, during a thunderstorm, a Pegasus crashes on her roof, and she helps take care of it. But soon they learn that they are being chased by the Naiads, which also came from Olympus, and they want to kill the Pegasus because the Pegasus is the only thing that can kill them, or something that the Pegasus has is the only thing that can kill them. And she and a boy named Joel have to escape. They also meet Diana, who is a goddess, and they are trying to get back to Olympus safely so they can save Olympus and ignite the flame of Olympus, is pretty much what's happening in the book. For characters, I gave it a 5. I didn't think the characters were really well developed. Now, don't get me wrong, I did like the book, and I'll explain why in a little bit, but the characters weren't really well developed. It was like everything was too easy with the characters, like not like the situation that they were in, but like believing wise. Like the girl was like, oh hey dad, this is a Pegasus and this is the goddess Diana, and the dad's like, yeah, okay, okay, like totally not even like, yeah honey, right, like let's go home kind of thing, you know. And when she tells Joel about him, she's like, oh by the way, there's a Pegasus on my roof, and he's like, right, okay, let's go check it out. Like, you know, like there's not like, there's like a 2-second hesitation, not like, yeah, you're a crazy kid, go. It's just like, right, all right, okay, let's go check it out kind of thing. And then there's like a government agency that's like convinced they're aliens, and like they'd rather believe that it's aliens than gods of Olympus, which I was like, what's the difference? Like, I mean, there's a big difference, but like, who cares? Like, you're still discovering something cool. Like, why do you care if it's an alien or not? Anyway, so that's why I didn't really like the characters, because they're kind of like dumb almost. But I did like the character of Emily and Pegasus. I thought they were good characters, but the side characters were kind of dumb. I didn't like them. Atmosphere, I gave a 7. I would have loved if there was a little bit more world development, which I never say, but not in New York City, because I'm from New York. I know what New York City looks like. I think everybody knows what New York City looks like from pictures and stuff like that, you know. But world development with Olympus, like they get there, maybe like a page is about what it looks like. I don't think it really goes into much detail. It's just like, oh, is that Mount Olympus? And they're like, yeah, it is. Okay, but what did it look like? So then writing I gave a 5, and writing I gave a 5 for those 2 reasons. Character and atmosphere and logic needed more. However, there are good aspects. So plot, I gave a 9. I thought the overall plot of the book was really creative. I've never really read anything like this before. Even Percy Jackson isn't like this, because Percy Jackson, he goes to the demigods. This, the gods come to her, and I've never really read anything like this. Plus, can we just take a minute to look how beautiful this cover is? This is a borrowed copy, so it's a little beaten up, but like, look how pretty that is. It's just a really pretty cover. But anyway, that has nothing to do with plotline. I just kind of looked in the camera and saw how pretty it was. But the plot, like, I felt like kind of like the book was the plot. Like, the characters weren't that great, the writing wasn't that great, like the plot is what made the book good. So intrigue I gave a 7. So this isn't normally a book I would pick up. It's not something that I would look at on the shelf and go, ooh, that's a book for me. I'm not a Pegasus, unicorn, frilly kind of person. But I think because it was Pegasus, like the Hercules Pegasus, that made me go, okay, I could get into that kind of book. It wasn't like some magical unicorn that skips all over the land or anything like that. It was like Pegasus from Hercules. So it's a character that I kind of knew already, but also I felt like the intrigue kind of held me, because this is a 400-page book and I needed to read it in a day. So I gave it a 7 because there are not a lot of 400-page books that I would read in a day. And picking this up, I was like, this is gonna be so hard for me to get through, but it wasn't. Like, I read it so quick. You know, it did take me all day because I was distracted by other things, but for the most part, I read it super fast and I got really into it. So I think the intrigue was good. The only thing that I didn't really care about was, you know, it's not really a topic that I care about. So that's where the intrigue kind of failed me, but it was definitely better than I expected. So, logic I gave a 4. Okay. First of all, this is the problem that I had the biggest problem with. So, everything was really easy. First of all, it was like, oh, we gotta get the Pegasus off the roof. Oh, look, his broken wing, he can fly now. What? It was broken like 2 seconds ago. Okay? And then it'll be like, oh, we gotta get out of here. Well, we'll just get out of here then. It's not that hard. We've been locked in here for weeks, but it's actually not that hard to get out. Like, let's just get out. There are other things too that I was like, and the same thing that I said with the characters, like, things were, like, too easy for them to believe. Like, oh, hey, Dad, there's a Pegasus on the roof. Okay. not like, honey, you feeling okay, or anything like that. And the injuries she's sustained throughout, like, the book and stuff like that, like, probably should have killed her in, like, a day, and they're just, like, hanging out in the woods, doing nothing. Like, you know, there was just a lot of things that I was like, yeah, that wouldn't happen. I don't care how fantastical your story is, that wouldn't happen. But for the most part, I mean, logic was not this book's strong point. Like I said, plot was this book's strong point. But enjoyment, I ended up giving it an 8 because, honestly, like I said, it is hard for me to keep an interest reading a book, an entire book in a day. I like to read my books slowly over time. I've talked in the past about how slow of a reader I am, and I do like to just take my time with a book. So the fact that I could get through a 400-page chunker like this on a topic that I didn't really care about and enjoy it for the most part speaks volumes to it. I think that this is such a, like, preteen girl or anyone who likes Olympic heroes kind of thing. You know, like, I feel like that's what it's geared towards, and that's not my thing, but I know why my dancers like it. Like, reading it, I'm like, yeah, I can see why they like it. Like, I have a lot of girls who this would be their top book, and I'm glad to say that I read it. I don't know if I'll continue on with the series, but I'm glad that I got to experience their top book. So this ended up with a rating of 3 stars for me, which it was a pretty high 3 stars. It was almost a 4-star, but I just couldn't forgive the logic and the characters. There was just some things that I'm like, ooh, you could have done better, Kate O'Hearn. But I mean, this is also, I don't know if it's her first ever book or what, but I know it's the first of the series, and the series is pretty long, so if I do continue on with the series, I'll be interested to see how her writing's grown throughout it. It does leave on a pretty decent cliffhanger. There's one problem that does not get solved by the end of the book, so it does make me want to read more, but it also makes me want to text my dancer and be like, yo, what happened here? Because I don't know if I want to keep reading it. So one of those things will happen. I don't know which one yet. But as it is almost 4 in the morning, I think I'm going to go to bed. I'm actually not that tired. The next book that I have to read is Magic Misfits, the second story, which let me grab that. But this is the second story, Magic Misfits, Neil Patrick Harris. Talked about what this was about in the beginning of the vlog, but this is the prompt for Believe-a-thon for the Safekeeper Stronghold, which is the final prompt. It's the end of the road, and basically it's just to read the next book in a series. This shouldn't take me too long to get through, but again, I have to finish it in one day, and I'm pretty sure Believe-a-thon technically ends at 5 UK time, which I want to say is 1 for us, but I think we have all day tomorrow because I think he takes in consideration that, like, it's USA too. So I think that he takes that into consideration. So I'm going to finish it by midnight tomorrow and count it as finishing it for Believe-a-thon because I feel like that's fair. But yeah, I mean, there's pictures in it. The writing's big. It's Neil Patrick Harris. I always read his books in his voice. So I'm either going to go to bed or start Magic Misfits. I can't decide which yet. We'll see how I feel. Hey guys, so it's about 3 in the afternoon. I've been outside for a while today, sitting in the shade reading. I'm making kind of good progress in Magic Misfits, but it's also been kind of crazy here because my sister-in-law's sister and her niece are over again, so I've been kind of watching them, hanging out, kind of being a lazy bum, but I have read a little bit. I've been reading on and off, so I'm about, I want to say like 25 pages in. No, I think closer to 30 pages in, but my sister-in-law's sister Stephanie dropped me off a whole bunch of middle grade books, so I'm just going to show it to you guys. I'm not going to do like a complete unhaul, but I just kind of wanted to pop inside, cool down for a little bit, and go through them, but I'm excited. I got new books, and they're all in really good condition too, and I believe they're all Scholastic, so I do like Scholastic books because I don't know why, I just do like Scholastic books. Reminds me of the book fair at school as a kid. I don't know if everybody had that or if it was just our area, but pretty sure everybody has the Scholastic book fair at school. I think that's a thing. I don't really know. Let me know if you had one down below. But yeah, I'm really excited to go through these, and then I'm going to go back outside and hang out in the sun again. So, kind of a chill day. So here's all the books that I'm saving. There were so many in there that I am so excited about. Like, look at these. They're fantastic. But I think the thing that I'm the most excited about is look how many I Survived books there were. I love this series. I read it as a TA to when I was a substitute TA to some kids, and I really fell in love with it, and I loved how it explained the events at a middle grade level. So I'm really excited that I have a bunch of these now, and there were a couple duplicates, so I was able to put them in my best friend's little stack that I have for her. There's actually a few that I put in the stack for her. So here's all the ones that I'm giving to her. So there's quite a few that I was able to hang on to for her that I wasn't really interested in, but I'm so excited. I have brand new books. They are pretty much brand new. Like, I am so happy. They're awesome. I cannot thank Stephanie enough. So Stephanie, if you're watching, thank you. But this is fantastic. I feel like I'm in like a little middle grade heaven right now. So it's very exciting. Okay, so it's a little after 5. I'm pretty done with the outside today, so I think I'm just gonna come inside and finish reading Magic Misfits, and I have to put all these books away still because they're still on my floor, so that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I'm gonna shower and just read, chill in my room with the AC because it's hot out today, and I'm happy about it, but also it is 10 of midnight, and I have successfully completed my journey to the Safekeeper Bookkeeper somebody's stronghold for Believe-a-thon, and I finished Magic Misfits, the second story. So this was really, really good. I actually liked this better than the first one. It rated slightly higher. It still ended up with a 4 stars, but I enjoyed the storyline a lot more, and I enjoyed the characterization of Layla a lot more than I did Carter, so I liked reading this a lot. So for character, I gave it a 9. I love the Magic Misfits group. I think that they're so cleverly put together. Like, everybody has their own personality, and they don't always complement each other. Like, Ridley and Carter kind of go at it every once in a while kind of thing, but they're the perfect little mismatched group, and it's great. For atmosphere, I gave it an 8. This took place mostly in a hotel, and I really enjoyed the hotel atmosphere. It was really, really enjoyable, and the secret locations that they find were also really enjoyable. Writing, I gave a 7. Along with plotline, I gave a 7. I thought that it was really cute, but I figured out the entire mystery looking at the covers. So on the cover there are clues that kind of can help you figure out the book. So I was kind of looking at the cover and discovered a couple of these clues and kind of applied logic and realized that, hey, but Neil Patrick Harris does that. He does that in his acting, he does that in his directing, his producing, his writing. Apparently his life is one big misdirection, so he tries to get you to look one way when the answers are right in front of you. So I kind of went with that whole method that I learned from the last Magic Misfits book and applied it, so I was able to figure it out before I even started reading the book, but it was still a really good read. But I did feel like the clues were pretty obvious if you knew to look for them, so for that I kind of deducted plot and writing a little bit because I felt like maybe they could have been a little bit more mysterious, but maybe I'm just extra super smart. I don't know. Probably not. It's a middle grade book. Probably should have been able to solve it even faster than looking at the cover. I don't know. So for intrigue, I gave it an 8. I did not want to put it down, which was good because I had to finish it in one day. So again, another great book like that. And this was only 312 pages, so shorter than reading Pegasus, but it was still another one that was hard to get through because of all the distractions outside. So it was nice to have a book that I didn't want to put down. And then logic, I gave a 7 because again, usually kids don't figure out the problems before adults, but hey, these kids might. But for the most part, I felt like they really did need adult help and went and got adult help when appropriate. So I didn't deduct logic that low because, I mean, hey, like, you need adult help sometimes, you are children. So, and then enjoyment, I gave a 9 because I really did enjoy it, and I thoroughly enjoyed Layla's story, probably the best so far. But I do still have the 3rd book, and the 4th book I believe is coming out this year. So, but I have the 3rd book to read this month. It's up there somewhere, and that is Theo's story, which Theo is probably my least favorite character. So I'm not sure I'm gonna like his story, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But Layla's definitely my favorite character. Now that I've read this, I super connect to Layla. So I feel a deep, strong connection with Layla. And it's actually a little bit sadder. Like, this book had a lot of sad moments in it that I was like, aw. So it was a little bit sadder this time, which I mean is good. It's good to switch things up once in a while. But yeah, so it is now exactly 12 a.m. So I am going to say happy Monday. Today is Memorial Day, and I have the day off, so we'll see what that holds. I don't know if I want to start reading another book, so my next read is going to be The Parent Trap by Eric Kastner. I still have it up there, so I don't have it down here. But I'm sure you guys know what The Parent Trap is about, but this was for when I had to pick 3 extra prompts for Bookworm. I picked Disney adapted realistic fiction, and I had to find one, which was really hard because most Disney books are not contemporary realistic. So I ended up picking The Parent Trap. It is about 2 twin sisters who at camp discover that they are sisters for the first time. They were separated as babies when their parents got divorced, I believe. That's how one of the movies goes. No, I feel like both of the movies goes that way. But they ended up getting separated, and they didn't know each other existed. So in order to get to know the other parent and to try to get them back together, they decide to switch places and return to their other's life. So that was a horrible description. But yeah, I'm sure you guys know what The Parent Trap is about, but I'm interested to see how the book is because, I mean, both of the movies pretty much followed the same-ish plot line, but there were some differences, and I do believe that this was originally written in German, I want to say. The original book was called Lottie and Lisa, but this one that I have is the Parent Trap adaptation. They said, what I read online said that you should get the Parent Trap adaptation rather than trying to read Lottie and Lisa, because Lottie and Lisa is actually hard to read. So if you don't do well with books that were translated, then it's easier to read The Parent Trap because that was like a straight English, like German to English, and it's something makes it easier. I don't really understand how translating books work because I'm horrible at other languages, so but I am looking forward to reading it. Okay, so it's 3:30 in the morning. My last check-in, my plan was to read a couple chapters of The Parent Trap and then go to sleep, but I ended up finishing it. I couldn't put it down. It was adorable. So this is about Lottie and Luis, and they meet at a summer camp and realize they look exactly the same, and so they kind of do some digging, like further digging into why they look the same, and they discover that they're twin sisters who were separated as babies. One has been living with the dad and the other has been living with the mom, so they decide to swap places and go live with the other parent until something happens and they have to be brought back together when their parents kind of figure it out and they try to get their family back together. So it is similar to the movie, like the overall, so the movie, I think that one came out in the 1970s and one came out in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, but both of the movies were pretty accurate to the book, except for the fact that the book takes place in 1940s, so like the stuff that was happening was more significant to the 1940s, but like it's still about the dad kind of has like the girlfriend and they want to break up him and the girlfriend so that they can, you know, get him and his mom back together and stuff, like him and their mom back together and stuff like that. Like, it's all pretty accurate to the movies except for the fact that it's 2 different time periods, so there's different like things. And obviously this was much shorter than a movie. This was only 139 pages, though it feels dense because like, when I picked this up, I thought it was gonna be like a 200-page book, and then I saw that it was only 130 pages, but like the cover alone is like dense, like it's just dense. But call pile wise, so I gave characters a 9. I thought Lottie and Luis were really funny, and I liked how that they were different slightly, but mostly looked the same, but they didn't act the same, which I always appreciate in a good twin story. Atmosphere, I gave an 8. I don't read a lot about books that take place in Germany or Austria or anything like that, so it was very interesting to read about that country because I don't read that often, and also I believe this was like right at the end of World War II, so I thought that was interesting too because, you know, it's just like a simple little kids book that could kind of take their mind off of all the horrible things that were happening or had happened. Writing, I gave a 7. I thought it was pretty good, but some of the translations didn't translate 100%, so it was a little confusing. Plot, I gave an 8, because I mean, who doesn't love the plot of The Parent Trap, really? Like, who didn't dream that they would go off to summer camp and meet their twin sister? Like, really? If you didn't have that dream as a kid, did you even see The Parent Trap? Because, like, you see The Parent Trap and that becomes your dream. Intrigue, I gave an 8 because I didn't want to put it down. I read the whole thing in one sitting, and I think part of it was just, like, I realized how short it was. I feel like if it was longer, I wouldn't have read it in one sitting, but I was like, oh, it's short and it's good, so I'll just finish it now. Logic, I gave a 4 because, I mean, come on, they're 9-year-old girls. Are they really going to be able to pull off swapping places, tricking the parents who have raised them their whole lives, and they're so identical that they don't even have, like, a freckle that's different? So, like, you know, logic isn't fully there. But then enjoyment, I gave an 8. So it ended up being a 4-star book, which I was pretty happy about. I've had a lot of 4-star books this month, which is awesome. So, but now I really am going to go to bed. I'm probably going to kind of watch some YouTube and then actually go to sleep. I think tomorrow I'll read The Magic Misfits 3 and get that one done and out of the way. So then all I have left is Catching Fire and Sun, unless I choose to read Star Shepherd, which I don't know if I'm going to. We'll see, because I've already finished the reading challenge that I was going to read Star Shepherd for, so I don't really need to read it now, but it was just going to be kind of like a bonus book for that reading challenge, but that reading challenge ends today, and obviously it's not going to be done today, so I might read Magic Misfits 3 today, and I do have to listen to Sun and Catching Fire, but I don't know, maybe I'll pick up something short and simple and sweet. I don't really know what I want to do for the rest of the week, but try to get through those at least. Star Shepherd sounds good, I just don't feel like I'm in the mood for it right now, so maybe I'll hang on to it for another time. We'll see. Okay, so it's about 11 o'clock at night. I didn't film much today just because I've pretty much done the same thing that I've done the last couple days, which is sit outside and read. Today I specifically sat by the pool though, so I mean, hey, switching it up a little bit. But I am almost done with the third Magic Misfits book. Can we just appreciate the hardcover that is under the dust jacket though? Like, look how classic and beautiful this looks. I don't have the other hardcover versions of the other books, so this was a nice little surprise when I opened it up, because the other ones I have are paperback. So, but this one specifically revolves around Theo and how much he loves his friends and being a magician, but his family really wants him to focus on his music and playing the violin, and he's not living up to their expectations. Plus he has 4 older siblings, I think, that are all beyond his parents' expectations, so he's feeling like the outcast and the letdown. Along with that, there is a ventriloquist in town who is working for the bad guy that we met in the last book, which I don't want to give any spoilers away, so it is the bad guy that we must met in the last book, and the ventriloquist, they believe, are working for him, and they want to kind of bring an end to whatever he's going to start, but they don't really know what he's going to start. They just know he's up to no good. So they're trying to figure out that mystery, but the mystery keeps making them fight and they're not getting along, and Theo's worried that his group of friends are going to kind of fall apart. It's probably my least favorite of the series right now for a couple of reasons. I don't really like the character of Theo from the other 2 books, so I'm not really liking him in this book either. He's just really proper and kind of like keeps to himself more than the other characters who are more outright about things. But the other reason is I really hate books where friends fight. Like, I don't like getting in fights. I don't like conflict, so it's really stressful for me to read about friendship conflict, because I'm like, I don't like conflict. So, but I mean, it's cute still. I like the plot line and everything. It's not my favorite of the series so far, but I only have 100 pages left, so I'm going to finish that up. And then tomorrow's back to work So I have to babysit tomorrow and I have to teach dance tomorrow. So it's really same old starting again tomorrow. I hate Memorial Day weekend and I love Memorial Day weekend. I hate it because it's like a tease of summer. Like, this is what summer's gonna be like. You're gonna have so much fun. Oh wait, never mind, you still have 3 more weeks of school. So, you know, it's never really bothered me before because I'm a dance teacher. So either way, I teach over the summer, but like, you know, it just depends on if I teach outside or not. But now that I'm teaching the kids all day, it's like, ooh, now I don't want to go back to teaching you schoolwork. I just want to have fun outside. So, you know, it is what it is, but I am hoping that our dance studio will be able to do outdoor classes soon. Looks like that is going to happen after June, so that's good. Okay, so it is 1 in the morning, and I have finished the Magic Misfits, the minor third. I actually finished it a little while ago. I've just been kind of stalling making this part of the video. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite of the series. It's probably my least favorite of the series so far, but it was still good, and it helps advance the plot. But Caw Pile-wise, did I mention Caw Pile in this video yet? Like, I've done Caw Pile, but did I mention what it is? Probably not. If you guys have watched my vlogs before, then you already know. But if you haven't, it is what G at Bookworm uses to determine the rating of her books. So it kind of breaks it down in a more statistical format, I guess. But I've been using it because I ended up with a lot of 5 and 1-star books in the past, and so I thought I'd give it a try this year, see how they turn out. And so far they're doing pretty well to kind of give me a better rating of my books and a better understanding of my books. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it next year, but I am going to finish using Caw Pile for the rest of this year, and then maybe I'll try to make my own. But yeah, it does help kind of let me see why I like a book and why I didn't like a book, kind of thing. But anyway, Caw Pile wise, for the Magic Misfits, the minor third, I gave characters a 9. As with all the Magic Misfits books, I think that they misfit together perfectly. I think the characters are very unique and very different, so it's always helpful to kind of see them in their not so perfect settings all the time, and they really do bring out the best of each other. And atmosphere, same with the other Magic Misfit books, I gave an 8 because the atmosphere is pretty much the same throughout the entire series. It takes place in mineral wells. It takes place mostly in like a hotel and the magic shop and stuff like that. So for writing, I gave a 7 for this one because it just wasn't my favorite. I don't like the character of Theo. He's too proper. So yeah, I just don't really care for the writing of this one. And plotline, I felt like the plotline wasn't great in this one, so I only gave it a 6 because they were kind of chasing red herrings for a long time throughout the book before they finally got to the mystery, and then the mystery wasn't even really solved. So, and then intrigue, I gave a 5. This one just didn't really hold my interest very much. I kept wanting to put it down, but I did want to finish the series for what I have today. And then logic, I gave a 6 because, you know, kids solving mysteries probably doesn't happen in real life, but I think I deducted it 1 point of logic this time just because like they're such good best friends, and then all of a sudden in this book they start arguing a lot, which was kind of like the point of the book, but like it was a really weird transition from like we've always got your back to like never mind kind of thing. And then enjoyment, I gave a 7. I did not like this book as much as I liked the other ones, but that's just because it revolved around Theo and I just don't like him as a character. So he doesn't do anything wrong. He's just too proper for me, and I don't like reading like sentences without contractions, apparently. I don't know. But I am excited for the 4th book. I don't know when it's coming out. I believe I read sometime in September, so I am excited, and I believe that one will take the point of view of Ridley. I don't know if they're gonna do a 5th one with the point of view of the twins. I'm hoping so, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. But that did end up being a 4-star rating, so it still ended up a 4-star, which the other Magic Misfit books are too. It was just a little bit of a lower 4-star. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. So I'm glad that I finished that series. All those Magic Misfit books that have been on my shelf for over a year are done now. I think, well, I'm gonna go to bed now, but I think my next read, other than finishing Catching Fire, I don't really want to read Sun, and I know that that means I'm gonna have to pick an extra book, but it's just so long and daunting, and I don't really want to read Star Shepherd either. I want to read something easier, a little bit lighter, and if I have to pick an extra book for Bookerty because of that, then I will, but they just seem so thick, and I've read a lot of big books so far, so I think I want something a little bit shorter. And tomorrow I also have to catch up on all my book journals and all my Instagram posts because I've read so much and not done any of those. So yeah, I don't really want to overwhelm myself with a big book on the last week of the month, so I think I'm going to just... Star Shepherd I don't have to pick an extra book for, so that's good. But I will have to pick an extra book if I don't read Sun. So we'll see, because Sun I do have an audiobook, but I am listening to Catching Fire on audiobook, and I'm only halfway through it right now, so I don't think I'm going to get to reading an entire other audiobook, because I believe the audiobook for Sun, I want to say it's almost 20 hours long. So even though I listen to it in like hyper speed, I feel like that's still too long. So maybe I'll read like a poetry book or like a shorter middle grade or something just for a fun read, something that I want to read. I'm gonna mood read even though I didn't pick a mood read card kind of thing. So it is about 11 o'clock at night on Wednesday. I haven't recorded much just because I've been really busy, like doing stuff around the house, but also last night I ended up doing my book journals for... I think I started them at 10 and didn't finish till 3:30 in the morning. So they took forever because I was so behind in them. I haven't updated any of my Instagram posts. That's going to be a weekend task because Saturday I have to watch a virtual dance competition that my dancers are performing in. So while it's playing in the background, I'm going to do all my Instagram posts and making sure everything's like set and done before I start my June videos. But I have read 2 books over the last couple days, just short and simple ones, just like post-work reads to kind of get my mind into something other than work, just because things are crazy right now with us trying to figure out an online schedule for the summer and trying to figure out our recitals and stuff. Things are just kind of crazy, so they've been my little like work break books. So I have been reading the I Survived books. So the one that I read last night was I Survived the Sinking of the Titanic in 1912 by Lauren Tarshish is who writes this. And this is about a boy named George who is on the Titanic and he is off causing trouble somewhere when he realizes that the Titanic is sinking and he has to go find his little sister who is out there trying to save him in order to get off the boat. And then I just read this right now, just finished it, is I Survived the Shark Attacks of 1916 by Lauren Tarshish, and this is about the shark attacks that were on the coast of New Jersey, or like out near New Jersey, and how they like came into the creeks and stuff back in 1916. So that was pretty interesting, and this like specifically revolves around a boy named Chet who is new to town and he's trying to make friends, and he kind of gets into a prank war with these guys, so nobody believes him when he says that there's a shark in the water. So for call pile wise, for the Titanic one, I gave characters a 7, atmosphere a 9. I really love books about the Titanic, so, you know, 9. Writing and plot, I gave a 6 just because I felt like it could have been a little bit longer. I know these are really early middle grade books, like these are probably like just on the verge of starting middle grade books, but honestly I think the kids could have handled more, like just a little bit more detail. Ooh. Sorry guys, I'm really tired. But just like a little bit more detail and a little bit more overall plot, like the plot really happens mostly at the end, so would have been interesting to see a little bit more. Intrigue, I gave a 9 because any story about the Titanic intrigues me. Logic, I gave a 4 because like a 10-year-old boy is probably not saving the day most of the time, so. And enjoyment, I gave an 8 because I really did enjoy it. I actually like wanted to put it down earlier, like in the night last night, to work on my book journals, but I was like, I'm just gonna finish it because it was really good. And then our shark attack one, I gave that gave I Survived the Sinking of the Titanic a 4-star. So the shark attack one, I gave characters an 8. I thought the characters were pretty well developed in it. Atmosphere and writing, I only gave 6 because the atmosphere I didn't really care about that much. Like it wasn't something that like held my interest. It was pretty much like a normal summer day back then, but also some of the stuff I didn't feel like was like super 1916. Like I could see where they were talking about like, oh, like I get paid 15 cents for my job and stuff like that, but I felt like it could have been a little bit more. Plot I only gave a 5 because there wasn't really a plot until the end, like other than that they were getting in prank wars, but I mean it was kind of like there's no such thing as sharks, like man-eating sharks, oh wait, man-eating shark, like kind of thing. So and then intrigue I gave a 6, along with logic. I actually gave logic a little bit higher in this one because the kid didn't try to just like save the day. He did actually go run for help first, so I appreciated that. And I won't spoil what happened when he ran for help, but you know, there's a shark in a creek. People don't really believe him, but you know, like I won't spoil the rest of what happens, but I did appreciate that he actually ran for help, like went to go get an adult and tried not to be the hero at first. And then enjoyment I gave a 7 because I didn't like it as much as the Titanic one, but it was an event I didn't know much about, so it was interesting to read. So that one I rated a little lower just for that reason. Like I really enjoyed reading it because I didn't know anything about the shark attacks of 1916. I didn't even know they were a thing, so I had no background knowledge on it, but it just wasn't like my cup of tea. I didn't really enjoy it that much, so I did end up giving it a 3-star instead of a 4-star. But yeah, I did read those books over the last couple days. I have 2 more books that I'd like to finish up this week, and the only one that I'm probably not going to get to that was on my TBR is Star Shepherd, and then I did not read Sun either. Oh no, Star Shepherd wasn't on my TBR. That was a bonus book. I'm not going to read that. I've already decided that. Sun, I was debating maybe I could get through the audiobook in like a day, but I probably won't because I still have 5 hours left of Catching Fire's audiobook because it was 11 hours. I did blow through a lot of it yesterday while I was doing stuff, but I just think that it's going to take me till the end of the week to finish it up because I just don't have a ton of time to listen to an audiobook. So I did pick out one more middle grade. I might do another I Survived book too, I don't know, but I did pick out one more that's a little bit more fun than the I Survived books, which I will talk about tomorrow if I get to reading it tomorrow or whenever I get to reading it. But yeah, I'm pretty much wrapping up my May read, so I'm not going to start Star Shepherd and I'm not going to start Sun because they're kind of long and I'm trying to like finish up my May reads right now, so I can get into my June one. So I am going to have to pick an extra book for Bookerty, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, I will check in with you guys probably tomorrow. I think I'm going to go to bed. I'm really tired because I stayed up so late doing my book journals last night that I am ready to fall asleep. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so it's about 11:45, and I'm going to wrap up the vlog now. Pretty much today I just played with the kids, and then I am listening to Catching Fire right now, but I also recorded my Bookerty video, so I'm looking forward to editing that and posting it Sunday because it's the first official Bookerty. I've been looking forward to doing it all month, so I'm really excited. But I am going to end this here because I'm not really going to do anything else for the next 15 minutes besides listening to Catching Fire. So, I haven't read anything else. I did start a book called The Oodle Thunks, which is just a book about cavemen. It's like a middle grade thing, and that'll probably be my last read of the month, and Catching Fire will also be my last read of the month, and finish those up and get ready to start a new month. So when you guys see the next video, it'll be June. I can't believe we're already like halfway through the year already. That's crazy. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Wasn't that a great video? Clearly books make me very happy. Now you can make me happy too. Click the subscribe button to follow my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you think I did good. And the notification bell will let you know when I post new content. Also, follow my Instagram for more book shenanigans.